Hola! Welcome to The Rainbow Crossing, a podcast where Gen X and Gen Z discuss life's challenges and how we face them as queer people. My name is Dora, and you are listening to The Rainbow Crossing. I got so distracted from just looking at you and laughing. But you know the gist. We're here every week to talk about queer differences and how we face them as queer people. But this is special because today we got Halloween.
It's our Halloween episode, yes, here with Dora and Miss Frizzle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Usually we're being filmed, but you got us live in the flesh today.
That's right.
I'm officially 24 years old as of this year. So I know I look a little different right now in my form, but the production likes to make me a little darker and youthful for publicity.
And a little more clean shaven, I would say.
How rude. I may have gained a couple pounds of mass. You know, I like to think more buff Dora here than anything else.
Oh.
And with us is Miss Frizzle.
Yeah.
The favorite, most outstanding teacher that we all know.
That's right.
Who is most likely also Gen X, if you think about it. Because if she was a teacher while this was coming out of millennials, she must be Gen X.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel really odd having shaved my beard for this. I forgot what it was like. My face is tingly, and it's just like weird to the touch.
Yeah, I think I've probably seen you maybe 2 times with baby face. Maybe just once.
Once since I've known you. Yeah, in 21. So I haven't shaved my beard in 3 years.
You do look a lot younger. I will say that.
Yeah, thank you.
I also feel a little baby-like.
Yeah, you look a lot younger.
And when I did put this bob on, it was interesting because I say this every day. I'm becoming my mother. And this is the exact same bob that she has, just in red.
Yeah.
So when I put it on, I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, I see my mom.
I mean,
scary.
Literally, yeah.
Which her birthday is also Halloween.
That's right.
Her birthday is on Halloween, so she is.
This is special. I have a feeling that she, and especially your sisters, are going to get a kick out of this one.
I think so. I think so too. I mean, I'm looking at myself right now and I look ridiculous. I'm sure you feel the same.
Yep. Trying not to look at it.
It's a great view though. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Likewise. This is fun. For those who don't remember, we had challenged each other with Halloween costumes. You didn't choose Dora.
Nope.
I didn't choose Miss Frizzle. We chose them for each other. So this was a fun way to do this.
And I picked her because she suits you to the T, if I'm being honest. Like, she's very informational. Everybody likes her. She has a lot to say.
Yeah.
Miss Frizzle.
I love it. I'm on board.
And me on the streets here and there exploring.
Exactly.
Wherever I can.
Yes, exactly. I didn't know Miss Frizzle because it came out when I was already out of high school. So
well, let me tell you, she's an icon. She's a legend.
All I know about Miss Frizzle really is the I'm sure it's not accurate to the TV show, but
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
But that's a booty hole line.
Girl, that's a booty hole. Yeah.
I imagine that's not what originally aired, but
there is this meme of Dora that's engraved in my mind where it goes, I cannot stand this puta. And she's like pointing to somebody. And I'm like, T.
Yeah. These are 2 iconic women that we're representing today. So very proud.
And very fitting.
Yeah.
Anything goes in Halloween. It really does.
Absolutely. I think that as we've discussed, Halloween has become a very popular holiday in the U.S. particularly. It's starting to grow in popularity around the world. But within the U.S., gay people particularly really enjoy Halloween. I think that
Since
we've
the
both...
beginning of time.
It feels that way, yeah. But just, to take it back a little bit, Halloween, like, what do you think of when you think of Halloween?
Personally, when I think of Halloween, I think of cooler weather. I think of cuddling, but with the spook, I want to be indoors, but I want to be spooked.
Yeah.
I want to see things that are going to be like, ooh, I'm scared.
Did you always enjoy Halloween as a child?
It was very interesting for Halloween with me and my family because being religious and it being on my mom's birthday, there was a lot of different things. Like sometimes we would celebrate Halloween, sometimes we wouldn't celebrate Halloween.
I did a little research about Halloween. I think it's one of those that we don't necessarily know the origins. We're not taught the origins of it in school. Thanksgiving, as skewed as the history might be on the U.S.'s Thanksgiving. We are taught that in school, but
Yeah.
Halloween, we have the witches and
You get to live and create a world that you just want to be in for a day.
Yeah.
No one knows who you are.
Right, exactly. But there are some, obviously, origins to it.
for sure.
So it's believed to have originated from the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain that was celebrated on November 1st. The Celts believed that on October 31st, the boundary between the living and the dead became blurred, so they would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off evil spirits. In the 1500s, Irish people began telling the story of Stingy Jack, a man who tricked the devil twice. When Jack died, he was not allowed into heaven or hell, so the devil gave him a piece of coal to light his way as he wandered the earth. Jack carved a turnip to hold the coal as a lantern, hence the name Jack of the Lantern, Jack-o'-lantern.
Love that.
When Irish immigrants came to America, they found that pumpkins were much easier to carve than root vegetables, so they shifted the tradition over to pumpkins.
So they were doing this on root vegetables to begin with?
Right. Turnips.
That's a cool story, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more you know. Thanks, Miss Frizzle.
Yeah. I'm here to spread the word. Seatbelts, everyone.
Literally.
Did you have like a favorite costume, candy as a kid?
I was always obsessed with Power Rangers, so I was every single Power Ranger, many different versions, at least the
Yeah.
years that I dressed up. Many different versions, but always the blue one. Always.
Was-
Which the OG's Billy.
Yeah.
The OG Power Rangers Billy, but I
Who was
went through
cute.
so many. Oh, yeah, super cute.
Yeah.
Little nerdy, but also super sweet and like also fit. And I
Yeah.
was like, king.
He had it all.
Period.
Yeah. Where's Billy these? You know, I did a Power Ranger outfit once as an adult. It was a group costume, and we actually did this in Mexico City. A bunch of friends went, and I got the white outfit. But I quickly realized that I should not go around saying that I was the white Power Ranger. You really have to be careful where you put the pause there. So I abandoned that costume after the first time after I realized white Power Ranger. That doesn't sound good.
No, but also going to a concert in all white and
Yeah,
that
who
also doesn't sound good. So it was
who
two
does that anyway?
negatives. You
Yeah.
retired it for the right reason.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But did you have a favorite costume? Did you have costumes? What was it like back in the day for you in Halloween?
When we were kids, Gen X kids, and I think anyone who's Gen X watching this can relate, there were just a lot of pop culture based costumes off of cartoons or whatever, but it was all kind of the same. Like it was this plasticky kind of fit over your whatever you're wearing kind of look, and then those masks that had, of course, the eyes cut out and then a little hole for your mouth. That looked just really creepy, and it was again that kind of I don't know what it was exactly, plasticky sort of thing. And everybody had that. Nobody was like making their own costumes or anything.
So what was it, like a serial killer mask
It
vibe?
felt like that, but no, it was a cartoon character. Like I'm sure you don't know this cartoon character, and I don't know why I loved this cartoon. But Richie Rich, do you know?
Don't know her.
I think
Great name.
it lives in the same world as Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Okay.
So it was part of that.
Gotcha.
Maybe I liked it because we didn't have money and this kid had everything, and so he could do everything. And it was a cartoon on at the time. I remember wearing that in like maybe the second or third grade. I remember that one distinctly. I don't know why that one stands out versus others. But back in the day, as far as like trick-or-treating goes, like did you go in your neighborhood? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
like in Gen X days, like we all felt comfortable like just walking your neighborhood, whether you knew your neighbors or not.
I mean, when I would be back home with my family and we would be together for the holidays, I would take my nieces out trick-or-treating when they were a lot smaller. I don't know if they still do. That's a great question. But I feel like it's died down just from what we're seeing. I mean, last Halloween, we didn't have anyone come up to our door.
Yeah, I know. We bought a full bag of candy, which,
Not a single kid.
but you took care of it anyway.
It took me a while, though. It took me a while. It was there for a very, very
was.
long time. Don't act like I just...
And we got the good
chopped
stuff
it
too,
down. Yeah, it
so
was
it's
good
not
candy.
like we had bad stuff sitting in the
Yeah.
pantry.
That's where those extra 5 pounds came from. I'm blaming you.
I'll
Well, actually, I'm not blaming you. Thank you.
yeah,
I love
yeah,
being a little thick boy.
thickums. A Snicker to get thicker. Speaking of trick or treat, the origins of trick-or-treating. So we talked about the origins kind of Halloween in general, but
Yeah.
trick-or-treating in of itself has different origins. There are several things that happened in several different countries that kind of lent to what we now do as trick-or-treating.
So like this is something that was made up from a bunch of different places.
Exactly. That's what it seems like. Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like America.
Yeah. Well, melting pot, exactly. So, a medieval English tradition where children would go door to door on All Saints' Day, offering to pray for the souls of the deceased in exchange for food. The food was often a pastry called a soul cake.
Okay.
So that's one place that this came from. A Scottish tradition where children would dress up in costumes and perform tricks in exchange for treats. So we've got English, we've got Scottish. A third is a German-American tradition where children would dress up in costumes and visit neighbors to see if they could guess their identities. If no one could guess, the children would receive treats. That's kind of fun. Mm-hmm. And then there was a Celtic holiday celebrated on October 31st when it was believed that the dead roamed the earth. Some theories suggest that the Celts would leave food out to appease the spirits, or that they would dress up as the spirits in exchange for food and drinks.
I wonder why all of them are similar and all done throughout the whole world, and the world's doing it just because.
Yeah.
You know, like, why do we do these things? It's
Right.
very interesting. Where does it come from?
Right. Yeah, the idea
What inspired people to just do some form of this the same way, but slightly different in everywhere around the world?
Right. It is interesting. But it's like mostly white people doing this stuff.
Yeah.
So we're just not that original, I think.
Capitalism. Probably.
Yeah. How do I get free stuff out of my neighbors? Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah. So in the late 1800s, there was a shift in celebrating Halloween. It became a holiday about communities and friendly gatherings rather than death and all other creepiness. Halloween became widely accepted and commercialized. People began throwing parties where children and adults would dress up in costumes. Do you have any Halloween traditions that you still live through today?
I guess for a tradition, it would have to be consistent and you would have to be doing it for the longest time.
Right.
So I'm going to go with no.
Yeah.
Since I was moving around a lot and it was also my mom's birthday, there was rarely a moment where we could set any traditions, if that made sense. I know Dia de los Muertos happens, and that's from my culture, but I also rarely ever celebrate that, you know? Which in that day you do bring pictures and memories and maybe their favorite food or something to resemble them on that specific day to show that we are passing and we're still there on this spirit realm, you know?
Exactly.
So that's my culture and tradition, but could I be embracing a little bit more? I think I am starting to, but it's nothing that I've completely started.
Yeah, I feel like tradition-wise, I know as a kid, of course, carving the pumpkin, which I know you did with some friends last
Just did
night
that.
even.
Yep. Which I didn't really do much as a kid. So
I don't think my parents wanted me holding a knife or anything. And back these days, they have like safe for kids tools to do.
For sure.
You know, when I was a kid, they didn't have safe
no.
for kid anything.
No.
We didn't even have laws to wear seatbelts. Like kids were riding in the front seat of the car without a seatbelt.
On your lap.
Yeah, exactly. Steering the wheel for dad. Yeah. I'm amazed sometimes that so many Gen Xers are still alive.
For sure.
Honestly.
For sure. I mean, even when millennials were kids, it was still just as bad. I think we started making a little progress when it started coming to Gen Z. Like,
For sure.
okay, let's put them in a seat at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you ever do like the carnivals at school where you would bob for apples or something? Was that still a thing when you were younger?
I think that's more of a small town thing.
Yeah.
It happened more when I moved to Texas that I did notice that there was a little festivities happening, but not as much.
Yeah.
Especially depending on like the areas that you're at. If the small town is like a little religious or something, they don't really want to partake in.
Sure, absolutely.
Halloween. But it's sad. It's just a day.
Yeah, I remember bobbing for apples, which seems like something that maybe you would have done in the 1800s, but I was doing it in the 80s. It seems a little bit of a throwback, but
It sounds cool though. It sounds like a simple good time. You know?
It was fun. So let's talk about some early queer Halloween traditions.
It should be interesting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of gay people I feel like a lot of gay people love Halloween and
yeah.
are into the scariness. There's a couple that are like, oh no, I don't like scary movies.
Yeah.
But most of them are like, let's do this.
Right.
You know?
Well, it gives us an opportunity to kind of cuddle up with someone. And some of you boys out there pretend to be scared so they
I'm
can.
so scared. Could you hold me?
Yeah. So in 1912, people were arrested in Pittsburgh for cross dressing. Eventually.
We would be arrested right now.
Right.
Well, I don't think we're fooling anybody.
No, I think we would definitely be arrested if we were even trying to celebrate Halloween. So these were Halloween arrests. Eventually, the police could no longer keep up with all of the Halloween reports of people in costumes that did not reflect their supposed gender, and the arrests stopped. So this was just a little over 100 years ago.
Yeah.
If it was Halloween and as
could not
a
dress
male, I couldn't dress as a female and vice versa without being arrested until just so many people were going along with it, they couldn't keep up. As early as 1935, Alfred Finney, a black gay man, held Halloween drag balls in Chicago's South Side. These events attracted thousands of attendees and were covered in major black publications like Ebony and Jet. So that was kind of the beginnings of gay people taking Halloween and making it their own.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we relate to horror in a way, you know? In
Yeah.
every horror movie, there's some outcast or someone who's a
Sure.
freak, allegedly, which a lot of us have been talked or looked upon that way.
Yeah.
And there's like some resemblance in there, you know? We see ourselves in those characters that
Yeah.
overcome these things to live while everybody else doesn't make it through the movie. Every person that was judging usually ends up being dead. And who lives? The freak.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Halloween embodies that empowerment of like taking on this identity, whether it's just a dream that you might have, or if it's actually like what you really feel on the inside. Have you ever worn a costume that makes you feel empowered?
I'm wearing one right now.
Do you feel powerful?
When I started putting it on, I was like, you know what? Dora's kind of a bad bitch. Like, she's going on these adventures as a child
Yeah.
and going through the world and also teaching people lessons. Like,
Right.
hello.
She's very smart, obviously.
She's talking to a monkey.
Yeah.
She knows it's sneaky when you see one. Swiper, no swiping.
Yeah.
She sees you.
Yeah.
You can't cross one with Dora.
No.
Hello.
I think that's great, but empowering costumes. I remember moving to Austin and finding a good gay group of friends, and that's the first time that I really started dressing up as an adult. So I was already in my 30s when I found Halloween again, and as a gay man, and I have always loved.
I just realized you're wearing boobs. Oh my God.
My eyes are up here, Dora.
Exactly. I'm a good person. That's why until you started touching them, then I'm like,
I forgot too.
What is she touching?
I forgot too. I don't know how y'all walk around with these things, to be honest.
You're showing a little, hey, careful, girl. Just looking out for you. The camera's right there.
Thank you. This costume doesn't necessarily make me feel empowered, but I have worn several costumes of a superhero variety that I just loved because I was big on superheroes growing
Still
up.
are.
Still absolutely am. And all of a sudden I felt this freedom because I was in this city, this bigger city. I had a good group of gay friends for the first time in my life, a large group of gay friends that were pushing boundaries and everything. Some were putting drag on for Halloween. My first Halloween here put on a Batman and Robin costume. Did Flash the next year, did Aquaman one year, did Spider-Man one year.
You're naming all my faves.
Yeah. So it simultaneously like fulfills this childhood fantasy, but also it makes you feel more of a complete person adult at the same time. And there's just something about following your fantasies and seeing them fulfilled that really just makes you feel powerful. And it's awesome that Halloween does that. It's almost kind of sad that it's only once a year.
Right.
But, gay people can find
Any
reasons
excuse
to, yeah. I know I used to do this a lot. For my birthday, I would have themed parties. So, you come dressed in a certain way, whatever it might be. One year we did It Takes a Village, people. So village people. It was a lot of fun. Everybody had the cop outfit or the construction worker or the army guy or whatever it was. And that was just a lot of fun. And that was in March. And we should find more reasons to embrace our inner child. And
For sure. And it adds a sense of creativity to your life that you probably don't dabble with on the
Right.
day-to-day basis.
Exactly.
And you let go on that day. You get to just have fun, be someone who you maybe want to be, or be someone who you've looked up to, or be someone who you really enjoy as a character,
So, we as gay people feel empowered by Halloween, and we often refer to it as Gay Christmas. So a little bit on the origin of Gay Christmas. During the 50s and the 60s, the Philadelphia queer community celebrated Bitches Christmas, is what it was called. I didn't know this until I looked this up. By dressing up in drag and partying in the city's gay bars. Revelers by the hundreds would follow drag performers from bar to bar, forming some of the country's first queer Halloween parades. So it's pretty, even in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah,
this was
that's
happening.
insane.
Following the wave of LGBT activism and visibility sparked by the 1969 Stonewall riots, more formal versions of queer Halloween celebrations began popping up in the gayborhoods around the country. New York City's Greenwich Village began hosting its annual Halloween parade in 1973. In 1979, a small group of Key West, Florida locals started a 10-day party, a paradise for adults, called Fantasy Fest. I can imagine what was happening there.
I mean, we see what's happening now.
Yeah. And Los Angeles' West Hollywood started its own Halloween parade in 1987. So some of these traditions have been going on for quite a while, especially considering that being gay has not been fully embraced, but just for the last few years.
That just shows as to how much Halloween you do have freedom to just express yourself or do whatever. Maybe that gave queer people the sense to embrace that side of themselves that they don't normally get to embrace on the day-to-day.
Right.
Which is lovely.
Yeah. Gay people have created some very interesting costumes over the years, not just doing drag or embracing a fictional character that they admire, but also taking things and maybe sexing it up a little bit. And I don't know if we started that or if the white girls started that, but it certainly is a trend beyond just the gay community. But the gay community fully embraces it. Have you ever done like a slutty Halloween outfit? Yeah.
A couple years ago, whore. Like, I mean, even right now, I promise you, this was not a whore attempt. I've just had a little growth spurt and then popped out of my shirt a little bit and out of these shorts. I can't do anything about it, okay? But I would definitely embrace a lot of things, like especially in gay culture. Like if you're out in the scene partying, whoever you are, you're gonna be a Batman but sexy, a handyman but sexy, a firefighter but sexy. It's always like something that has to do with your wear being a little skimpy,
Yeah, years ago I did an Atlantis cruise, and there was one night, the theme was superheroes. And so I did my Spider-Man. I would never, ever do this now, but I had like a Spider-Man hat, which was, in place of a mask. And then I cut out like a spider, like how he has on his suit, and I was shirtless and spirit glued that onto my chest and had a pair of Spider-Man briefs and gloves. And then, of course, some kind of shoes to wear out. That was it.
Well, maybe I wasn't a whore compared to you because that over there is something else. I was thinking like booty shorts, a shirt, but still like somewhat open.
I would not do that these days, and I'm sure the audience is grateful for that. But, I mean, how do you feel about that? Because, like I said, like I wouldn't do that now, but obviously I did embrace it at one point in time. And I do feel like some people in our community look down on that.
Yeah, all I say is time and place. You know, it's not your world. This is all a shared space. So like if you want to dress a certain way, make sure you're just around those kind of people. And that's it. If you're going to dress a certain way and then maybe go out with other people, TBD.
Yeah.
It's nice to look good and feel good about how you look.
Yeah.
But if we're all doing it and we're all in our underwear, just roaming around saying we're X, Y, and Z when we really put no thought and time into this costume, girl, put some clothes on, please. Or at least sell me the costume. Like, you can't say you're one thing just to be naked.
Yeah, not slut shaming at all.
No.
Like, embrace your body.
But be that person.
And-
If you're going to be this costume, be that person.
Yeah. I mean, have fun with it. Absolutely.
So, Miss Frizzle, have you ever experienced anything on a school bus that was like, oh my God? Because I can tell you a lot of stories about the streets. A lot of them. They are wild. There's foxes running up on you, trying to snatch what you got. I had to let go of my map. It's 2024. He was doing me no good. I was like, I need you to be a little bit quicker, map.
Did you just use your phone now?
No. I've roamed the whole world. I don't need anything else. Maybe just a school bus teacher to show me the things that I don't know.
Sounds like it could get inappropriate.
I'm 24 years old. What do you mean?
Okay.
Everything's of age right now.
Okay. Well, it's Miss Frizzle. It's not Mrs.
She was giving, not gonna clock her, but that lesbian that we love, Miss Frizzle.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah.
who she was.
Yeah. So how do you feel about, a slightly older woman?
Well, as I'm older and more mature now, I definitely think that I'd rather just not be around men.
Okay.
There's enough adventure out there and enough world out there and enough knowledge out there to fulfill me the way a man never could.
Right. Right. But, an adventurous woman. As
That's
myself.
another story. That's another story. Woo. Starting to blush over here. Anywho, Miss Frizzle, do your thing.
Seatbelts, everyone. As queer Halloween events were taking off, obviously there was going to be some pushback. We saw this happen in a few different places and ways. So the Philadelphia police commissioner had shut down that Bitches Christmas that I mentioned earlier, events in the early 60s due to the visibility of the celebrations.
Oh my God, homophobia happening. What's new?
Yeah. So in general, as the gay Christmas events were happening on Halloween, more and more repression was going to be happening at that point in time because gay people were pushed into the closet. Even if they wanted to come out, they were being pushed back in. These events were not shut down, actually, though, due to cross-dressing laws, but they used the guise of business regulations to shut down these kind of events. Violence and anti-LGBT attacks, even into the 90s, caused some events to shift venues or to end completely. So it wasn't that long ago that we were still seeing repression. And obviously there's still pockets of it in the U.S.
today.
But by and large, we're pretty free to express who we are on Halloween.
For sure.
There are a lot of people, obviously, who can't be themselves or don't feel comfortable to be themselves in a public setting. I think that's why Halloween means so much to so many gay people, because it was that one day a year that they could actually put on a dress and feel their feminine side.
In a way, it's liberation. It's freedom. You're able to just express who you want to be and converse with whoever you want to converse with, and no one's gonna bat an eye because everyone looks the same in a weird way, if that makes sense. Like, everyone's partaking in this type of day. So who is anyone to judge when you really don't even know who's really that person?
Right.
So you're more free to just break the rules a little bit. Well, not breaking the rules, but to you, it's something out of the ordinary. I remember it kind of feels like when you're experiencing gay things for the first time, it's like a little bit exciting on the day if you don't get to do those things. On this day, I'm not looked at like, is that guy gay? Is that guy whatever? Or looked harder on, because everyone's just being who they want to be on that specific day.
Yeah.
With no judgment, no hate, just good thoughts and good vibes.
Right. The gay community can be judgmental.
Oh, for sure.
Just like the straight community can. But on Halloween, it's something for everyone.
Yeah.
We are completely inclusive on those days.
And people are complimenting people left and right on their
Yeah.
costumes and outfits and their whatever is going on,
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago that even within the gay community, if a male presenting person came dressed in in a female look, that they might get frowned upon for that. They might be thought less of for something like that. That can still happen on, outside of Halloween. So obviously we have a long way to go, but that Halloween day, it lets us let our guard down for one day. And I can only imagine what that was like 50, 60, 70 years ago. Like, I'm sure that really meant something.
Yeah, I'm sure it felt even more like a blessing,
Maybe you don't know this, but cross-dressing was actually criminalized in the U.S. until the 80s.
Wow. And then RuPaul came.
Yeah. According to an article from the Yale School of Medicine, an estimated 83% of those who identify as lesbian, gay, or bisexual keep their orientation hidden for all or most of people in their lives. 83%. So Halloween is an important holiday for everyone in the community, but especially for those who are unable to or do not wish to present themselves out of the closet year-round. So that's a really high percentage. And it's not saying that 83% of gay people are in the closet, but it says 83% hold back from at least a portion of the people that they know. So it might be family, it might be coworkers, et cetera.
That's a huge percentage.
Yeah.
I mean, I never fully came out, and I never really said anything. Like, when I was in the closet, that was more of me trying to figure things out before I even said I'm something, like I had these thoughts and all that, but I didn't want to declare something if I didn't know it.
Yeah.
And then once I knew, then I started acting on it and just being and like living, and then whoever finds out, finds out, and whoever doesn't, doesn't. So for 83% of the people to not disclose part of themselves to whoever is wild. That's crazy.
Right. Where does Halloween rank among your favorite holidays?
I am going to go with number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
With Christmas being number 1. Not necessarily like for the gifts and stuff. There's just this warm element of like, even though that I'm not around family all the time, it's just nice when I do get together with people on these days and just have a good, nice dinner together in where there's no work or anything going outside and you just get to enjoy those days. Halloween, it's any other day, you're working. If it's on this specific day, you're still working. Like, that's happening. So it's a day off with great people.
Yeah.
And that's what I enjoy about Christmas being my number 1.
So as far as Halloween's popularity, though, it is the number 2 commercial holiday in the U.S.
It's just consistent, You know what to expect. You know what to do.
Yeah.
It's like you either partake or you don't. With Christmas or Thanksgiving, it could be like, oh, if I am alone, I'm missing somebody, or I'm missing another warmth energy to celebrate this kind of festivity.
Right. Yeah. Christmas and Thanksgiving, a lot of people feel like they need to be around family, biological family.
And Halloween, you could go out in the night on your own and see where it takes you.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody's a friend on Halloween. Yeah, you don't meet any strangers on Halloween. So it's the number 2 biggest commercial holiday in the U.S. So it's right behind Christmas, of course. People spend the most money at Christmas. Second most, Halloween, with candy, costumes, decor, all of that kind of stuff. But what's interesting about that is as of mid-2023, Halloween ranks as the 10th most popular holiday in the U.S., which is really interesting that people spend the second most money at Halloween, but it's their 10th favorite.
My thought process on that is maybe they're spending it the most, and I see this happening in more like bigger city areas and maybe some houses in small city areas, but the why it's down there is maybe because of religion and maybe because of the whole Satanism with Halloween tied together.
That might play a role in it for sure. The number 1 most popular holiday in the U.S. is Thanksgiving. And it's really interesting that the number 2 is Memorial Day, followed by number 3, Christmas, of course. And then you've got the Veterans Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day.
Christmas. Number 2 is Memorial Day. What was number 1?
Thanksgiving.
Is the favorite for the whole country. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
There are a lot of holidays in there that celebrate people. Memorial Day, you're celebrating. Veterans Day, you're celebrating. Mother's Day, Father's Day, you're celebrating individuals. So those, interestingly, rank higher than Halloween. But I think that you're right, that probably religion plays some role in that as well.
For sure. That's the only reason it was never too consistent in my life.
So obviously, despite how gay celebrations of Halloween were shut down in the past, obviously they continue to thrive in big cities in LA and Chicago and New York, etc. So we see that gay Christmas is alive and well, and I think is probably
Thriving.
bigger than ever. Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, for most gay bars, Halloween is their second most profitable night of the year after Gay Pride.
That's a moneymaker. I mean, I did have to get this wig and this shirt
Exactly.
and this backpack and these shorts.
Backpack.
Yeah, she's kind of cute, but did I outgrow her too? I honestly don't know. And it used to fit me big. I think it still works, right?
That is so small.
It's clear, but I promise you there's a lot in there. You just can't see it. Only I know what's in there. So sorry about it.
Magic.
Maybe if you play your cards right, you can play inside my box. My backpack is what I meant to say. Which is also a mystery box.
Wow. Miss Frizzle is going to need you to sign a parent permission slip before we continue with this.
God. Dora, I do have parents, a lovely mother, but you see her every once in a while.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like any other Latino kid. I'm out the door looking for the world on my own. But if I need to, mom's always there.
I mean, you can call me mommy if you want to.
Miss Frizzle, stop. Oh my God. We got to end this. At least I think.
I think we do. Yeah. If you celebrate Halloween, please be safe.
Number one, be safe. And for all you Dora girlies out there, be an adventurer. Go explore. The streets are calling if you want them to.
Wait, the streets are calling? Is that what you want to end on, Dora?
You wouldn't know, Miss Frizzle. You're exploring booty holes.
Oh.
Anywho.
Well, as I say, take chances, make mistakes, and get messy, girl.
Work.
Oh.
Pues, ya me voy. Hasta luego.
Oh, thank you for joining us.
Thank y'all for coming.
Happy Halloween.
Yes.
Please
be
like,
safe.
comment, subscribe.
And it's time to
Vámonos.
vámonos. Hay que irnos. Bye. Love ya.
Bye.